shift in like the proportion of like bioavailability for like
Mm,
different types of the same nutrient
absolutely.
when you're
Absolutely.
yeah, but I feel like that's a big problem with veganism because a
But
lot of
that would
people
also
just
work in the favor of veganism, by the way. For B12, for example, studies show that you can get higher bioavailability of B12 from certain plant-based supplementations, specifically things like oral supplementation, compared to getting it from an animal's dead body. So yeah,
okay, but
that
what about like vitamin C and just like other things like
yeah,
that?
vitamin C can be utilized to heavily increase the bioavailability of things like iron as well, which makes them more bioavailable. So again, if we're purely speaking
No,
about
I'm
what's
talking
more
about vitamin C itself because like the bioavailability of vitamin C itself changes a lot, like from like plant derived vitamin C and like animal
But by the
derived.
way, non-vegans are actually shown in studies to be more likely to be deficient in vitamin C compared to vegans. Vitamin C sources are more abundantly found in plant-based diets. So the problem that you're
Mm.
speaking about is actually more likely to occur with non-vegans than vegans. Studies comparing, so there was a study called Nutrient Status Intake in Adults Consuming Plant-Based Diets versus Omnivorous Diets, and it showed that vegans are more likely to be deficient in things like B12 and things like iron and things like protein. We're more likely to be lower than non-vegans. But omnivores, on the other hand, they're more likely to be deficient in things like vitamin C, vitamin E, fiber, folate, magnesium. So both diets are just as
Mhm.
likely to be deficient, just in different nutrients. So all of us
Yeah.
should be preparing our diets correctly. All of us should be planning our diets correctly. All of us should be supplementing where necessary. The idea that only vegans suffer deficiencies and only vegans have this problem is just completely it's just completely contradicts what all of the science and the data shows
Yeah, yeah.
us.
Yeah, no, I was sure. No, I was just under the impression that like vegans just have a high propensity to, in general,
Mm,
like just be like
no.
deficient in like different nutrients. But I don't know.
We're both likely to be deficient in different nutrients, which means both our diet should be planned correctly to adhere to where those nutritional gaps may be.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, but this is the final thing. Which like nutrients are like more significant to like as like contributors to like cardiovascular, like metabolic diseases?
I mean, cardiovascular, what you said originally, that would be obviously things like saturated fat and cholesterol is known to raise LDL cholesterol, which is known to raise cardiovascular disease risks. And
Mm-hmm.
saturated fat and cholesterol are abundant in animal products and dairy. So, if we're talking about specific cardiovascular disease risks, there was a study done by Stanford that actually compared identical twins, one following a healthy omnivorous diet, one following a healthy plant based diet. And it showed that the twin following the healthy plant based diet had lower cardiovascular disease markers after
That's
the study.
that's a bit of a small sample space, so like a singular pair of
Oh,
twins.
it
Right?
wasn't one pair. There were 22 pairs of twins, so there were 44 overall, 44
Mm.
twins. But yeah, I mean, if you have any evidence to show that plant-based diets increase cardiovascular disease risk, I'd love to see it because I've not seen anything like this.
Yeah,
All the studies show the complete opposite.
that's why originally I was saying I was just delegating like that to like someone I know,
Mm.
who claims like stuff like Kino and
That would be
so
an
it's kind
appeal
of
to authority, though, as you know, right?
oh yeah, but so are you. Like you're not gonna be able to test like you're just appealing to a consensus. You're not gonna be
It,
able to test like any of like the studies that were found, and at the same time the peer review mechanism is like largely like biased, just so people can get like dissertations and like studies out. So I'm not sure like.
Yeah, so when you said mine is the same, mine's obviously not an appeal to authority because we're not looking at one authority here. We're looking at a multitude of authorities from all around the world, right? So it wouldn't be an appeal to authority per se. Appeal to consensus, I'd also slightly disagree on that as well because we literally have data from all around the world from different scientists, different doctors doing different studies, randomized control trials, meta-analyses. So to say that all of these studies, all of these individuals, all these doctors, all these scientists, all these nutritionalists, all of the hundreds of thousands of them around the world doing peer reviews on hundreds and thousands of different studies, to say that they're all biased is just, I would say,
Well,
disingenuous.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying to like some point, like the peer review and like meta-analysis mechanism is like biased, just because like it's still at the end of the day, it's like financially driven, and people do want to like get their studies out and like be acclaimed. So like we might like assign false credence to certain like studies, but again, this is all underpinned by the distribution of scientists that are saying that like these diets are healthy versus like not. So I'm not sure like
I would say
what
your
that would
argument actually goes against your favor here, because what you'd actually find is that a vast majority of doctors, they receive little to no nutritional training. I'd say maybe about 5-10 hours on average. So the reality is the doctor's telling people, hey, go eat these, you're deficient on protein. Oh, go have some red meat. Oh, go have this. That argument that you specified, where these doctors are just going about their medical training just to get their dissertation or get their qualification, it actually goes against your argument. It doesn't actually help your argument, because when we actually go to the nutritionists, the people who are actually qualified on this, more qualified on nutrition than doctors, obviously, they're actually showing us that we can get all essential nutrients from plant-based diets. So yeah, your argument actually doesn't favor your position at all.
No, I'm not really arguing. Like I already kind of accepted that it's more likely the case that like a vegan diet is fine, but I just enjoy the taste of meat. Like I'm fine with just like saying like okay, I'm morally wrong in doing this, but I'll just like continue to eat meat
Yeah,
anyway.
so yeah, I could obviously go down the argument like, what does sensory pleasure justify harm? You'd probably, I mean, what would you
No,
say
no,
to that?
I understand all of that. I just feel
Yeah,
like
so you agree that it's morally, unjustified. So then why continue doing something that's morally unjustified when you know you don't have to do it?
again, like it just tastes nice.
But they're victims. It's not like morally unjustified. Like, we could probably agree that certain people, like, doing certain things where they're not directly harming another person, but they're still doing something that's wrong, would be wrong. Like maybe somebody watching something disgusting, right? They're not actually harming somebody else, but them engaging
Yeah.
in that behavior, we would both agree is morally incorrect. But this is an action where it's actually a victim that's being harmed. There's actually
Well,
another sentient being that's, having their life taken away, being abused and exploited. So in this context, this moral wrong is actually directly causing a victim to suffer. So
yeah, I
again,
understand
so
that.
why
But the
why
main
do it
point,
if you don't have
the
to, bro?
the main point is because like the main reason I don't really see it as something that bad is because like economically, I just don't think there's gonna be like a significant change in terms of how many cows are like dying if I stop like eating meat, for example.
I mean, there was a study that was done that showed that there was about up to 100 animals that could be saved every year by switching to a plant-based diet. Now, I'm not saying like the animals that you're eating, it's not 100 animals like cows and pigs that would be saved. But when you look at the environmental damage of animal agriculture, the vertebrates and the other animals that are heavily being impacted by things like habitat destruction, deforestation, which the pivotal driver of that is animal agriculture, it's absolutely true that you would be saving numerous lives every single year. Up to 100 about is what was estimated. So if you know that just switching your diet can save about, let's say even 50, if we half that, 50 animals a year, is that not worth just, trying different options to save 50 animals a year? Is that not worth it to you?
I don't know. I just feel like it assumes that it assumes that multiple like I don't think like for a single person like stop like to stop eating meat is gonna like save 100 animals a year. Like just because of the fact that it could just serve as like a motivator for like more subsidies and other stuff because it is a huge industry. Like I
Okay,
don't
so
see
out
like
of curiosity, if you know that you could go vegan and save 50 animals a year, would you go vegan or not?
um it depends on the type of animal to be honest.
Okay, let's say cows and pigs. Would you go vegan to save 50 cows and pigs a year?
Eh, I'm not sure to be honest. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, and I just ask you to think why, right? Because you're a smart guy, clearly from our conversation. You know that they have awareness, consciousness, feelings, emotions. They cry, they have families, and the moment we don't need to harm them, why unnecessarily harm them just for taste pleasure? And the reality is we're not saying, hey, bro, go and eat salads and lettuce and cucumbers all day. Rice, bread, beans, pasta, seitan, soya protein, corn, tofu, legumes. We have plant-based, healthy alternatives to everything you're consuming. We have the same things that don't cause harm. So even if you want to eat junk food that tastes amazing and be unhealthy as a vegan, you can do that as well without causing harm. So if it's
Right.
completely optional to cause that harm and you can live a great healthy life without doing it, I would just ask you to consider why you still do it anyway.